Hello and welcome to a new Google Sheets project in Practical Sheets. Today we're going to do a stock management system for restaurants or for meal prep or anything that involves taking raw material and transforming it to a final product. Normally, when we talk about stock systems, you buy shoes and then sell those same shoes. What we're going to do today is twist this formula a bit, because this formula doesn't work. For example, if you do candles, you buy wax, you have to do some process, and then you sell the candles. Or for example, you do hamburger, then you need to buy the meat, you buy the bread, you buy the vegetables, whatever else, and then you sell a hamburger. So it's different what you buy from what you sell. So this transformation is the tricky part when you're doing an inventory system or a stock management system. So we're going to need a lot more elements than in a traditional buy one, sell one model. First, we're going to need the raw materials. So let's call this first sheet raw material. Let's say we're going to do some sandwiches and start with some very simple sandwiches, and then we move on to more complex recipes. So we're going to do very simple ham and cheese sandwich. So what are our raw materials? We're going to use some bread, we're going to use ham, and we're going to use cheese. That's it. Then we can add vegetables and other more complex things. That's it. Then we have our product. Our products are the sandwiches. So for now, we're going to have a ham and cheese sandwich. This is what we're going to sell. Now, we need a buying or an input where we are going to start registering what we buy. How many breads, how many hams, how many cheese. This is just the list of raw materials. This is just the list of products. But I need something, I could call it purchases, where I buy my raw materials. I also need a sales page where I put the products that I sell, these products. Finally, I need one missing element, that is my recipes. Or how do I connect? How do I know how many hams, how many cheeses, how many breads does my ham and cheese sandwich has? This I could call it recipes. And here I'm going to have my product, and then I'm going to have my raw material. And finally, I'm going to have the quantity that the product will have of each raw material. And my last sheet is going to be the stock. Because at the end, I want to know how many breads do I have left, how many hams do I have left, how many cheese slices do I have left, and all of that. So I already here have my raw materials, bread, ham, cheese. Then I could talk about units, for example. Right now, we're not going to get very complex. Everything would be slices. Let's assume for now that I buy slices and sell slices. The reality is that I'm going to buy a package of 20 slices or 30 or something like that. For now, for sake of simplicity, let's say we buy it on a slice basis. Then we have our product. For now, we're not going to enter in the price thing. We're just going to have a list of products. Then we have our purchases. Here, I'm going to purchase these raw materials. So here I need to have to be able to choose from these raw materials. So I'm going to choose all this column with Control Shift down or Command Shift down. Then I'm going to go to data validation, and I'm going to choose list from a range, and I will choose from these raw materials. I'm going to go Control Shift down 2 times. So I'll leave it here to A1000, or I could just delete the 1000 and leave it open. This means that it will start in 2 and go till the end. Here is 1000, but I could have 100 or 10,000. It doesn't matter. I'll check this reject input. I'll save it. I have here my raw materials, and then here I'm going to put the quantity I am buying and maybe the date. Then we're going to go to our sales, and here I'm going to bring also my products. I just have one, but then I'm going to add more. So data validation, list from a range. I'm going to select this range from product A2 up to column A. Okay, reject the input. Again, I can have here a date, quantity. Let's leave it in the same order as the other one. Quantity and then date. Then we can add a lot more things once we start progressing in the file. Here is my favorite part, is the recipe. Here I'm going to mix raw materials with products. Again, is the way of telling the program or the system that the ham and cheese sandwich has two slices of bread, 2 slices of ham, 2 slices of cheese, or whatever. So we're going to do the same we did for purchases and for sales. First, we're going to choose the product. I'm going to go down, Control-Shift down, data validation. I'm going to choose list from a range. I'm going to choose the products from A2 column up to A. So I leave it open. So it will work for many products. Reject inputs, save. Then I go up and to my raw material, I'm going to do the same part for the raw materials. Data validation, list from a range, enter a range or formula. I'm going to choose in the raw material sheet from A2 up to A. Again, I'm leaving it open. I say OK, reject the input, save. I think here in sales, I didn't leave it for all the rows. So I'm going to select this A2 row, go down with Control-Shift down, and then do Control-D. So I'm going to duplicate my data validation. I thought I have put here quantity and date also. Don't know what happened. Quantity and date. Okay, and the one left is stock that we'll leave it for the end. So let's check that everything's right. I have my raw materials, bread, ham, and cheese. I have my products, that is the ham and cheese sandwich. I put the quantity and date here in product, and it was in the sales where I wanted to put it. Then I have the recipes where I'm going to connect the products and the raw material. I also forgot to extend these to all the rows. So I'm going to stand here in B2, go down with Control-Shift down or Command-Shift down, and Control-D. Okay. Then I have my purchases where I'm going to put how many breads, cheese, and ham slices I'm buying, and the sales where I'm putting how many ham and cheese sandwiches I'm selling. Okay, so it's time to do the recipes. So I only have one product, ham and cheese sandwich. So I'm going to say that this sandwich will have bread. How many bread? 2. Again, I choose ham and cheese sandwich. Then I said ham slices. How many slices? Let's say 4. And here again, ham and cheese sandwich and cheese. How many slices? 4. Here I don't know what I'm talking about, if it's slices or what I had here. So I need to bring it here. So I'm going to insert one column and put here unit. It's good to know what we're talking about. So I'm going to do a VLOOKUP. I go to bread. I'm going to look for bread here in raw materials, and in these 2 columns, in the second column, I'm going to look for bread. Here is with a comma, no? I'm going back to Colombian notation where it's a semicolon. And lastly, I put a 0 at the end, close the parentheses, and that's it. First, I'm going to bring it down up to here and see that I have some errors. To remove the errors, I'm going to put another function outside VLOOKUP that it's called ifError. If this VLOOKUP gives me an error, then just put it as and space. I'll bring it down again, and I resolve my error. Then I'm going to go down, Control-Shift down and Control-D, just so I have the formula in all my cells. I think that's it. This is a very simple first version, but I think it can work. So we're going to buy some bread, sell some sandwiches. So let's buy. Again, I told you that we're going to do a first assumption that we're going to buy the bread by slices. It's not real, but for starters. So let's say I buy 20 slices of bread, then ham, I buy 20 slices of ham, and then cheese, I buy 20 slices of cheese. I want to put here my date, so I'm going to select my C2 cell, go down with Control Shift down, go to data validation, and do a date validation. Is valid date, reject the input, and do save. Why do I do this? Because now if I want to put the date, I only have to double click the cell and I can choose a date. So this is easier for the user to select the date. And for sale, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to stand on the C2, go down, Control Shift down, data validation. I'm going to do a date validation, reject the input, and save. That's it. So now I bought 20 bread slices, 20 ham slices, 20 cheese slices. This means I could sell about 5 sandwiches. So I'm going to buy one, let's say this day, and then I'm going to buy another one, another 2 this date. Let's leave it at that. And now we can go to our stock sheet. Here in stock, what is my stock? Is it the sandwiches or is it the raw materials? Actually, it is the raw materials, because I'm not going to measure how many sandwiches I have left. I'm going to measure how many bread slices I have left, how many ham slices I have left, and how many cheese slices I have left. So I'm going to put this as raw material. I'm going to bring all the raw materials I have here, and I will do it with a unique function. Unique, I'm going to my raw material page, stand on the A2, and then go up till A. Close the parentheses, and here I have my 3 available raw material. Don't worry that we're going to make it more complex and have more raw materials, but again, I'm doing a first draft version or first beta version. Then I need 3 things: my purchases, my sales, and my stock. That is purchases, that is sales minus purchases. I could have a third column and that is called adjustments, because for example, I could have, let's say I don't sell any sandwich in 2 weeks and my ham got damaged. So I had 3 or 4 slices that went damaged. So I may have, in the future, I could put an adjustment sheet where I could put all the raw material that has been damaged or is not fit for putting in the sandwich or has been stolen. I don't know, whatever. The purchases is the easy part. I'm going to use a SUMIF function. We're going to sum here in my purchases sheet everything in the column A that matches the current raw material. In this first row, the current raw material is bread, A2. And what are we going to add? We're going to add the quantity, this B column. Let's give it enter. So I correctly purchased 20 units of bread. And the same for ham and the same for cheese. I'm going to, just for safety, we're going to put F4 here and F4 here. So we make sure that this is fixed. And then I can bring it down a couple of rows. So this is correct. I have purchased 20 breads, 20 hams, and 20 cheeses. Let's purchase another 20 hams just to see if it's correctly adding up. And here I have 40 slices of ham. Okay, I could put another function here that if this is empty, then don't add anything up. So we can say that if A2 is empty, then just leave it empty, and if not, do the sum. And I could bring it down here, and I could bring it down to the last row, Control Shift down, Control D, as we have done in the past. And you can see, just standing on the cell, that every cell has a formula. Okay, now let's go to the tricky part, that is the sales. Because I cannot just go and sum sales, because here I don't have anywhere, I don't have a ham, I don't have bread, I don't have cheese. I don't know how to do the correspondence. This is the reason why I have my recipe, okay? So this is where this recipe sheet comes into play. I could add this quantity, but the thing is this is just for one sandwich. So I need to have one way to multiply the number of sandwiches that have been sold by each of these quantities. So I'm going to add here another column that is called quantity sold, let's call it. So I'm going to do another SUMIF, but this time I want to SUMIF in the sales sheet in the column A. I want to sum all the ham and cheese sandwich that have been sold that matches this product, and then the column I want to sum is this quantity one. Here it will be 3, here it will be 3, and here it will be 3, because it's the same product. But what I need is the multiplication of these two. Total consumed, let's call it, and it's multiplying this by this. So now I can see that I have consumed 6 slices of bread, 12 slices of ham, and 12 slices of cheese. I'm going to bring down these two formulas to see if I have some errors. Here it returns 0, I don't like it. So I'm going to do the same thing I did in the stock sheet. So I'm going to put it inside an if. Say that if A2 is blank, then leave it blank. If not, do the SUMIF. And the same for here. If A2 is blank, leave it blank. If not, do the multiplication. And then I'm going to choose these two, go down with Ctrl-Shift down 1 time and 2 times, and do Ctrl-D. So I have the two formulas pasted in all the rows. So that's it. The only thing I need to do now is to sum, again do a SUMIF, but of this column. Because I may have used bread in another sandwich, in the chicken sandwich. So I don't only need this one, but I need every row where the bread is listed. So I'm going to stock, and again, SUMIF. What is the column that I'm going to look for? In the recipe sheet, I'm going to look for this B column where I have the raw material. And I want to sum whatever matches this one. And the thing I'm going to sum is the quantity. Sorry, the total consumed. Then I close. Again, I'm going to bring it down. I want to remove the 0. I do what I have done in the last minutes. If this cell is empty, then leave it empty. If not, do the SUMIF. I'm going to go down 1 time with Ctrl-Shift down, 2 times with Ctrl-Shift down, Ctrl-D, and I have my sales. Then in stock, I'm just going to subtract purchases from sales. So purchases minus sales. And again, let's bring it down to see in the blank rows what it's returning, and it's a 0. I don't want a 0. So the same thing. If A2 is equal to blank, then leave it blank. If not, do the subtraction. Again, I go down 1 time, 2 times, Ctrl-D, and I'm ready. This is my first stock. It looks good, but it's very simple. I have to change a couple of things. The first thing I'm going to change is that the raw materials, I'm not buying it in units. Here I can have, let's say, a recipe unit. Then I can have a buying unit. And here I have my conversion. Because I'm not buying by slices, I'm buying by a pack. And the same for the ham, and the same for the cheese. And the conversion is, let's say that I buy 12 slices per pack, and in the ham I have 24 slices per pack, and in the cheese I have 20 slices per pack. So here, when I'm purchasing, I'm not purchasing 20. I purchase, for example, 2 packs, 3 packs of ham, 3 packs of cheese, and here 1 pack of ham. And here in my recipes, nothing will change because this is the unit. Let's change this not for unit, but for a recipe unit, as I put it in the raw material sheet. So here nothing will change. What will change is here in my stock, because I'm purchasing in the buying unit and I'm selling in the conversion unit, okay? So I can do it in either of two ways. I can have here another column where I convert my purchases to the recipe unit, or I could do the sales converted to my purchasing unit. My preferred way today is to do the conversion in the sales. So it may be weird to say that my stock is 10 slices of cheese. It may be more accurate to say that I have half a pack left or 1.5 pack left or something like that. So the sales, here I have it in my conversion units, but it would be good to convert it again to my buying unit. Yes, it's weird to say that I have, I don't know, when we start to look at vegetables, for example, to say that I have 3 rings of onions left. But if I say I have a pound left of onions, or 3 onions left, or a half an onion left, it says a lot more. So this I can do it in a manner of ways. One way is to have this and just go and multiply it or divide it by the conversion. And that's it. It's not that difficult. If I know that I have sold 6 slices of bread and I know that a pack of bread has 12, then it's the same as half a pack of bread. So I'm going to divide it by this conversion. Here I'm going to, inside the SUMIF, I'm going to divide it by a VLOOKUP of bread in this raw material sheet, and I need this conversion column, the 4th column, and I leave it the exact result with the 0, and I put enter. I bring it down with Ctrl Shift down and Ctrl D, and then I know that I have sold 0.5 packs, that is 6 slices, and here I have sold 0.5 packs of ham. The pack of ham has 24, so this has to mean that I've sold 12 slices of ham. And here I have them, 12 slices of ham, the same for the cheese. But in the cheese is a bit more because the pack of cheese has less slices per pack. And I don't have to do anything else. I know that I have left 1.5 bread pack, 3.5 ham packs, and 2.4 cheese packs. Let's do a thing a bit more difficult. Let's say, for example, a tomato here. We're going to add to our ham and cheese tomato. So what is the recipe unit? Also, we could say that is slice. What is the buying unit? A unit. And the conversion is, let's say we can have, I don't know, 6 slices of tomato per tomato. And then I'm going to go to my recipe and add 1 ingredient, that is the tomato, 1 slice. How many slices? We're going to add 2 slices per sandwich. And then let's see our stock. Automatically it has updated. The thing is that I haven't purchased tomatoes. So here is where I'm going to buy, let's say 5 tomatoes, any date, and given that I have sold 3 sandwiches and each sandwich has 2 slices, and I've already told the system that 1 tomato has 6 slices, so that means that I have spent 1 tomato and I have 4 left. That's it. I think it looks good. There are a lot of things that we can add. We can add the cost of the tomato, of the materials, the price of the sandwich. We can add a lot of more things, but I think right now it's working. So I hope it's useful. And this not only works for meal prep, and as I told you at the beginning, this could work for anything that you buy something and sell something different, where there is some value added and you take raw materials and turn it into something else. Because with these recipes, we could use our imagination. We could do whatever. It's not only for meals, but I think for meals works very well. So that's it. As always, you can find this template file and the codes and the formulas and everything in the Patreon page. And hope you like it. If you like it, you can subscribe to the channel where I try to do every week new practical projects that may help you in your personal entrepreneurial projects or in your company. Thank you so much. See you next time.